There are places that don't appear on typical travel maps but are etched deeply in the imagination of dreamers. Mountains where deities are said to dwell, lakes that reflect ancient souls, sunken cities that still speak beneath the waves. These are not just destinations, they are gateways connecting us to a metaphysical world where natural beauty intertwines with legends spanning millennia, where every step feels like entering an untold epic. From the mystical forests of Shenongjia to the icy depths of Cana's Lake, this is China, but not the China you think you know. This is its most ancient, sacred, and surreal incarnation. Join us on a journey through 15 extraordinary places where beauty isn't just seen, it's felt deep in memory and deep in spirit. Hanging Temple, a sanctuary suspended between heaven and the divine. Clinging to the sheer cliffs of Mount Heng, where fog never lifts and even birds dare not land, hangs a mystery that has whispered through the winds for over 1,000 years. Xuankong Temple, the Hanging Temple, suspended more than 75 meters above the valley floor. Each dawn, as silk-like mist veils the Jingxia Gorge, the temple appears faint ghost-like between cloud and gray stone. It's as if someone painted a door mid-air, leading not to a place but to a realm of the sacred. Legend tells of a Northern Wei monk named Lioran who dreamed of building a temple in the sky, untouched by worldly noise. Upon waking, he sought out the most perilous cliff, tied himself with ropes, and carved his vision into the rock day by day. Locals say the cliffs glowed at night during construction, and not even the strongest winds could shake the scaffolding, as if protected by unseen forces. But Xuankong Temple doesn't just defy gravity, it defies division. Within its delicate halls, Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism coexist side by side. A statue of Buddha sits next to Laozi, and Confucius quietly affirming that truth has many paths and all lead upward. No one fully understands how the temple has stood for over 1,500 years. Wooden pillars driven into the rock remain unshaken. Even during earthquakes and thunderstorms, the temple stands an architectural miracle and a spiritual enigma. Climbing the narrow wooden stairs that hug the cliffside, one feels more than awe. It feels like entering a ritual, a crossing from the ordinary to the transcendent. Wind howls through stone crevices. The scent of incense drifts gently. Every step echoes like a heartbeat through centuries. People don't come here just to see it. They come to listen. To the stories the stone has told the sky. To the silence the temple has etched into wood. A silence that science to this day can only stand before and wonder. Yungan Grottoes, the hidden city of Buddha within the mountain. Carved into the sandstone cliffs near Dating Shanxi province, lies a place where even time seems to bow its head in reverence. The Yungan Grottoes, a sprawling stone sanctuary of over 250 caves and more than 50,000 Buddha statues etched into the earth since the 5th century during the Northern Wei dynasty. In the golden hues of dusk, massive Buddhas emerge from the shadows, some nearly 17 meters tall, others small enough to rest on a fingertip. All sit in serene meditation across layers of stone. Wind drifts through narrow cave openings. Birds soar past ridgelines. The air feels sacred, as if you've entered a temple carved between sky and soil. Legend has it that in the year 460, after a time of religious persecution and civil unrest, a high monk named Tan Yao persuaded the Northern Wei emperor to commission these grottos as an act of atonement to the Buddhas. The first 5 colossal statues were sculpted in the likeness of emperors, symbols of repentance and a plea for peace and prosperity. When the central Buddha was completed, people claimed to see a divine radiance beam from the mountaintop for 3 days and nights, as though heaven itself had answered. But Yungang is more than a sacred site. It is a crossroads of cultures and beliefs where Buddhist artistry from India and Central Asia fuses with the spirit of Chinese tradition, birthing carvings that can never be replicated. The Buddha's half-closed eyes and gentle smiles whisper a truth devotion can turn stone into divinity. To enter Yungang is not merely to visit, it is to cross into a realm of deep time. Every stair, every fissure tells the stories of 500 years past. In the cool air, tinged with incense, shafts of sunlight pierce through the stone, illuminating the folds in each sacred robe. As you lift your gaze to the great Buddha seated atop a lotus throne, worldly worries seem to dissolve. And then you understand some places were not built to be admired, but to remind us of how deeply we once believed in the miraculous. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for the next video. Lishan Giant Buddha, the colossal monk guarding the confluence of God. At the turbulent confluence where the Minxingyi and Dadu rivers merge, a colossal monk has sat in silence for over 200 years. The Lishan Giant Buddha, the largest stone Buddha carved into a cliff in the world, is more than a marvel of human engineering. It is a miracle in stone sculpted at a place where ancient people once believed the river gods raged. Each morning the sun strikes his coiled hair, making it shimmer like it's been touched by a light from another realm. At his feet, waves crash endlessly. Locals say it's the sound of sutras carved into rock, and within the roar of water, one can hear the sigh of centuries of devotion. Legend says that during the Tang dynasty, a monk named Haitong dreamed of 3 river dragons fighting where the waters met. In his vision, a seated Buddha calmed the chaos. Upon waking, Haitong climbed the crimson cliff, gouged out his own eye to prove his faith, and began carving the statue. They say that during the 90-year construction, the cliff glowed at night, and storms ceased when temple bells rang. No one dared call it magic, but no one dared deny it either. The Lishan Buddha is not merely a statue. He is a prayer turned to stone, the future Maitreya Buddha seated calmly against wild waters, smiling gently to still the fury of nature. In the distance, Mount Amei appears through mist, bowing its head, as though another monk sits silently beside the Buddha, blurring the line between dream and reality. Climbing the winding Nine Bends plank road along the cliffside, one doesn't just ascend a mountain, they drift away from the mundane world. From the Buddha's serene gaze to his vast palms, wide enough to hold a plaza, every angle feels like standing inside a living God's breath. And when you board a boat to drift downriver, gazing up at the entire statue, where his head touches the clouds and his feet meet the waves, the bells of Lingyun Temple echo on the wind as if a sacred scripture were rising from river to sky. People come not just to behold, they come to listen to what the stone has kept for the heavens and what the waters have whispered to humankind. A stone monk, a legend incarnate, and to this day no one truly knows, is he peacefully asleep or simply closing his eyes to listen. Fenghuang Ancient Town, a sacred dream amid mist and legends. There is a place where time seems not to flow but gently breathes amidst the misty mountains of Hunan, Fenghuang Ancient Town. Here it emerges like a fairy tale dream, mystical and sacred within the thin fog that envelops the town year-round. At dawn, the Tuojiang River winds gracefully through the heart of town, resembling a soft silk ribbon, reflecting old wooden stilt houses, moss-covered roofs, and gracefully arched bridges, reminiscent of brushstrokes in a classical ink painting. The soft sound of oars blends with distant rooster crows, echoing as if from a world centuries past, one where time forever stands still. Legend has it two phoenix birds once flew over this land, so enchanted by the picturesque harmony of mountains and water that they chose it as their eternal home. Singing resonantly between mountains and clouds, they transformed into divine birds, guardians of this peaceful haven. Henceforth, the land was called Fenghuang, where divine spirits gathered, bestowing harmony and prosperity. Despite countless upheavals and wars, Fenghuang has preserved its ancient soul and tranquil beauty. Each stone on its narrow alleys bears marks of history, yet the town's heart remains untouched and sacred as it was from the moment divinity first ascended. The culture here beautifully blends the heritage of untouched and Han, people passed down through folk songs, sacred rituals, and the skillful hands of silversmiths, keepers of memory through shimmering silver jewelry. Drifting along the Tuojiang River, crossing the stepping stones of Yanhang Bridge, gazing at red lanterns softly illuminating the water and listening to traditional music mingling with gentle drizzle, visitors realize Fenghuang is more than just an ancient town. It is a misty gateway leading back to legends, a place where hearts dissolve into a fairy tale dream that never fades. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for the next video. Jujaigu, a shattered mirror of heavenly myth. There are places not meant merely for exploration, but for listening. Deep in Sichuan's mountains lies Jujaigu, appearing as a celestial mirror, fallen to earth, shattering into 108 mystical emerald lakes. Every dawn, as the sun shyly rises behind snowy peaks, delicate mist blankets the lake surfaces, reflecting the sky, as though heaven itself gazes downward. Tibetan legend speaks of a bittersweet tale. The mountain god Dog fell deeply in love with the fairy Simo, gifting her a mirror aurora, woven from clouds and wind, reflecting the entire universe. But their love fractured, and the celestial mirror shattered, forming the valley's 108 sacred lakes. Her tears became silvery waterfalls, frozen in eternal sorrow, and Dage turned into a snow-capped mountain, forever silently guarding his beloved. No one truly knows why these lakes mysteriously shift colors from emerald green to amber gold, then to deep indigo. Yet the legend remains alive, retold by nature with new shades each passing season. To Tibetans and the Qiang people, Jujaigu is sacred ground, where every branch, every drop of water holds a living soul. Lungta prayer flags fluttering on cliffs, prayer wheels endlessly spinning whisper prayers across generations. Walking the wooden pathways around Mirror Lake, whose waters flawlessly reflect drifting clouds, or beholding rainbows shimmering above Nuorilong Falls, visitors find not only their eyes open, but their hearts as well. In primal forests, echoes of pandas, strange birds, and hidden streams seem to whisper myths from a forgotten past. In autumn, as crimson foliage illuminates the crystal-clear lakes, locals believe Simo's spirit still wanders, searching for fragments of her lost mirror. Jujaigu, a place where legends are not spoken in words, but etched into stone, blended into water, and absorbed deeply into the hearts of all who journey here. Daosheng Yading, the last sacred land among the realms of gods. Located in southwest Sichuan, Daosheng Yading is revered as the world's last sacred sanctuary, an untouched realm where time stands still, preserving the pristine purity of creation. Tibetans call this place the last paradise on earth, sacred enough that only those destined can arrive. At dawn, the three sacred peaks, Xian'ai, Chanadorje, and Yangmayong, awaken in radiant splendor, like gods stirring among clouds. Xian'ai shines pure white, Chanadorje solemn in deep sapphire, and Yangmayang rises like an icy pyramid, sheltering the golden dragon's tongue, grassland beneath sunlight, filtering through red pines. Winds blowing across glittering glaciers carry scents of wild grass and whispers believed by locals to be messages from bodhisattvas hidden within mountains. Legend tells that Guru Rinpoche himself chose Yading for meditation, as only the purest place reveals true inner peace. Thus, the three mountains became embodiments of Bodhisattvas Avalokitesvara Manjushri and Vajrapani, symbols of compassion, wisdom, and power. The eternal snow atop the peaks signifies the unchanging truth of Buddhist teachings, untouched by the passage of time. Every year, thousands pilgrimage here, circling the mountains in the sacred ritual of Kora. Beads in hand, mantras whispered softly. Beneath Shyanayari, the 800-year-old Chongu monastery resonates with early morning chants, incense smoke weaving through forests like sacred breaths. Lungta prayer flags flutter vigorously on high passes, carrying prayers through winds, spreading them across valleys. The journey to Yading is arduous, more spiritual quest than travel. Rising over 13,000 feet through Chongu grasslands, dotted by grazing yaks and wildflowers, shimmering under sunlight, the three peaks guard the sacred territory as silent sentinels. At Five Color Lake, visitors stand breathless before its crystal-clear waters, believed by Tibetans to reflect the compassionate gaze of bodhisattvas upon the earthly realm. Nearby Milk Lake rests serenely, as calm as a mother's embrace, and when sunset descends, the mountains glow golden, illuminating the valley like a revealed paradise. Yading is more than a place, it is the ancient memory of souls, a living legend, an undeniable proof of heaven existing on earth. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for the next video. Meili Snow Mountain, the frozen warrior guarding a sacred realm. At the border between heaven and earth, where Tibet meets Yunnan, rises Meili, Snow Mountain, an unconquered spiritual guardian. With its highest peak, Kawagebo, soaring to 113 feet, this is a place not meant to be conquered but revered. Tibetans call Kawagebo the Prince of Snow, surrounded by over a dozen jagged peaks, like loyal warriors guarding their sleeping deity. At sunrise, a brief miracle known as Golden Sunrise transforms Kawagebo's snow-covered summit into brilliant gold, leaving viewers breathless before this fleeting divine spectacle. Below Meili, the mighty Mekong and Salween rivers flow parallel through deep canyons, forming the legendary Three Parallel Rivers, a masterpiece untouched by human hands. Thick mist envelops Kawagebo almost constantly, allowing the mountain to reveal itself only to those it chooses. According to legend, Kawagebo is not merely a mountain but a divine warrior, accompanied by 13 generals neighboring peaks who patrol valleys nightly. Locals claim the avalanche of 1991 echoed like the hooves of these warriors, a solemn warning from the spiritual realm. Since then, Kawagebo has been strictly off-limits, a summit reserved exclusively for souls. Meili is one of Tibetan Buddhism's 4 sacred mountains. Every year, thousands of pilgrims journey here, performing the sacred Kora ritual, walking around the mountain, prayer beads in hand, chanting mantras, each step a reverent act of devotion. At the foot of Kawagebo, ancient Philaisi Monastery still echoes with dawn chants. Yak butter candle smoke mingles with the wind, drifting through pine forests, encircling rocky cliffs like the invisible breath of heaven and earth. Traveling to Meili is not sightseeing, but a profound spiritual pilgrimage, confronting one's own insignificance, humbly bowing before immense nature, and entering a nameless sacred space. Those who leave Meili carry with them not just memories, but deep tranquility in their hearts, and a portion of the mountain's sacred spirit. Gannon, the sacred grassland where legends whisper. On the limestone plateau of southern Gansu, Gannon stretches endlessly, not merely as a vast grassland, but as a sacred realm where nature breathes, whispers, and listens. In the early morning, Sankei grassland lies softly beneath delicate mist. Wildflowers gently sway, dancing quietly to ancient melodies carried by the wind. Herds of black yaks and snowy white sheep drift across the landscape like delicate brushstrokes on an ink painting. A slender river winds like a silver ribbon, mirroring the magical hues of dawn. Amidst this serene beauty, Lebrang Monastery glows brilliantly, its golden rooftops illuminating the surrounding pine forest, while lungtup prayer flags flutter in rhythmic whispers toward the sky. In Gannon, every mountain, every cliff holds its own legend. Locals tell stories of the Tiger Cave goddess, a compassionate deity who shines softly in the darkness, warding off evil spirits. On full moon nights, pilgrims meditate before the cave walls, believing the goddess reveals her gentle smile only to the truly devoted. Further away, the peaks of Jagana shelter a timeless romance between a nomadic youth and a Mongolian fairy, their eternal love crystallizing into the sacred sky lake, quietly reflecting vows never broken. Gannon is more than just a destination. It's where Tibetan Buddhism, indigenous beliefs, and nomadic souls converge harmoniously. Lebrang and Milarepa Phoji monasteries have guarded wisdom and awakened souls for centuries. Each summer, the sacred horse racing festival echoes across the plains, music and chants, reviving ancient rituals that awaken the land. Exploring Gannon begins at Lebrang, where prayer wheels spin endlessly and sacred chants cleanse weary souls. Wandering Sankei grassland on horseback, sleeping in nomadic tents, you listen to whispered legends of the hero Gezar carried gently by passing winds. As sunset bathes the grassland in golden light, yaks quietly return home. Monastery lights flicker like silent guardians of an unseen world. At this moment, Gannon transforms from mere geography into living folklore, a sacred meditation where legends aren't simply heard, but vividly lived in the gentle breath of earth and sky. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for the next video. Kenes, the divine eye guarding the sacred lake. Hidden in the pristine taiga forests of northern Xinjiang, Kenes Lake appears as a massive turquoise gem, so calm it mirrors another world. Early mornings drape a delicate veil of mist over the crystal-clear surface, with golden birch branches reflecting softly onto the water, creating an ethereal painting. From afar, rustic wooden homes of the Tuva people sit quietly on grasslands, smoke from morning fires blending seamlessly with the mist, the lingering breath of an ancient soul. Beneath this serene beauty lies an age-old legend. The Tuva speak of the lake monster, an enormous black fish-like creature with knife-sharp teeth drifting from the sea and trapped here forever, becoming the lake's guardian spirit. There were times when cattle vanished mysteriously, leaving only bones washed ashore, instilling fear among villagers. Genghis Khan himself reportedly saw this being and left behind 126 warriors to pray for forgiveness. Ever since, Kenes has been revered as a mystical portal, carefully watched from below. The Tuva call Kenes the blue eye of heaven, its water shifting colors with each season, each shade a signal from beyond. They build altars and offer gifts, whispering prayers to appease the lake's guardian. Surrounding lands become a crossroads for Tuva, Kazakh, Mongolian, and Han cultures, where ancient legends are never written down, but carried by wind and told by firelight. A journey to Kenes is a sacred dream. Walking through morning mist feels like wandering through a cold, magical illusion. In late autumn, visitors witness ice flowers, drifting gently like miracles under sunlight. Climbing the 1,000-step fish-watching pavilion reveals panoramic views of the lake curling like a sleeping dragon. Locals believe sudden ripples are signs of the guardians stirring wake. As dusk descends horseback riding over grassy hills, bells softly jingling, you realize time pauses here. The universe slows to one deep breath. Beside campfires at night, Tuva elders speak of the legendary monster, their voices as deep as wind through mountain crevices. As you sip fermented mare's milk and gaze up at brilliant stars spilling across the sky, an unsettling yet wondrous truth dawns. At Canis, you're not the observer. The lake itself quietly watches you. Lijiang, the ancient jewel in the breath of the sacred dragon. Resting gently by the crystal-clear Jade River and guarded by the snow-crowned Jade Dragon Mountain, the ancient town of Lijiang gleams like an eternal jewel, a place where morning mist and history breathe in harmony. At dawn, narrow canals wind through the town like delicate veins whispering softly with flowing water, while temple bells echo from Lion Hill. Centuries-old blue stones, polished smooth by countless footsteps, lead through alleys shaded by vivid red bougainvillea flowers that reflect upon dark-tiled roofs and tranquil waters. In the distance, Jade Dragon's Snow Mountain lies peacefully resembling a silver dragon protecting the ancient town's spirit. The Naxi people recount a legend. Long ago, an evil spirit dried rivers and withered trees. Two heroic brothers, Jade Dragon and Haba, fought the demon with 13 heavenly swords. Haba sacrificed himself, becoming Haba Mountain, while Jade Dragon became the 13 snow-capped peaks eternally guarding Lijiang. Rain is said to be Dragon's breath snow, the armor of gods, and thunder the warrior brothers' eternal vow. Each year, Naxi people gather at Sanduo Temple to worship the dragon spirit, praying for peace and abundance. Ancient Dongba pictographic script still adorns stones and fabrics, carrying secret cultural codes. Music from traditional instruments, pipa flutes and drums, lingers in alleyways as timeless as the legends themselves. Buddhism, Taoism and goddess worship coexist peacefully, all quietly honoring the unseen spirits of nature. Black Dragon Pool is believed to shelter a sacred black dragon beneath its depths. Out of respect, no one fishes in its waters. At night, lanterns float silently along canals, recalling ancient souls returning gently beneath glowing red lights. Sitting by the poolside sipping hot tea and hearing distant melodies, you gaze upward at the moon, downward at the snowy mountains. At that moment, you understand that you're not simply within an ancient town, you're standing amidst the living memory of earth and sky, enveloped by the sacred breath of a dragon carried gently by prayers, whispered forever. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for the next video. Longyu Caves, a silent wonder buried beneath the earth. Hidden beneath Phoenix Mountain in Zhejiang, the Longyu Caves rise like a forgotten miracle, untouched and undisturbed for over 2,000 years. No one knows who carved them, why they were built, or how such colossal spaces were even created. Yet 24 massive chambers remain, each nearly 100 feet tall, with walls perfectly etched in mysterious rippling patterns. In '92, a group of farmers decided to drain a village pond to raise fish. But instead of mud, they uncovered the entrance to an underground world. Beneath the water lay carved staircases, stone columns, vast rooms like ancient halls sculpted with such precision, it seemed as though they followed a blueprint written in a lost millennium. There's no mention of these caves in any historical record. No tools, no human remains, not a single artifact, only rock and silence. Researchers estimate that over 1 million cubic meters of stone would have had to be removed, yet no evidence of such a feat exists. How did ancient hands achieve this, and why did they vanish without a trace? Some say Longyu was a sealed palace lost to time. Others believe it was a meditation labyrinth carved by Taoist monks. And then there are whispers of this place once serving as a stopover for beings not of this earth. In the dim underground light, Longyu doesn't just astonish, it unsettles. Because sometimes the most haunting mysteries aren't the ones we don't know, but the ones we once knew and have long since buried beneath the silence of memory. Longyu Caves, a silent wonder buried beneath the earth. Hidden beneath Phoenix Mountain in Zhejiang, the Longyu Caves rise like a forgotten miracle, untouched and undisturbed for over 2,000 years. No one knows who carved them, why they were built, or how such colossal spaces were even created. Yet 24 massive chambers remain, each nearly 100 feet tall, with walls perfectly etched in mysterious rippling patterns. In 1992, a group of farmers decided to drain a village pond to raise fish. But instead of mud, they uncovered the entrance to an underground world. Beneath the water lay carved staircases, stone columns, vast rooms like ancient halls, sculpted with such precision, it seemed as though they followed a blueprint written in a lost millennium. There's no mention of these caves in any historical record. No tools, no human remains, not a single artifact, only rock and silence. Researchers estimate that over 1 million cubic meters of stone would have had to be removed, yet no evidence of such a feat exists. How did ancient hands achieve this, and why did they vanish without a trace? Some say Longyu was a sealed palace lost to time. Others believe it was a meditation labyrinth carved by Taoist monks. And then there are whispers of this place, once serving as a stopover for beings not of this earth. In the dim underground light, Longyu doesn't just astonish, it unsettles. Because sometimes the most haunting mysteries aren't the ones we don't know, but the ones we once knew and have long since buried beneath the silence of memory. Heaven Lake, a sacred lake at the border of myth. On the misty border between China and North Korea, atop Changbai Mountain's volcanic peak, Heaven Lake shines like an emerald jewel. At dawn, its mirror-like waters reflect the sky so clearly that earth, water, and clouds seem indistinguishable. High above 6,500 feet, lingering snow glistens, while Chinese and North Korean flags flutter, marking this sacred meeting point between reality and myth. Legends speak of a mysterious dragon king dwelling beneath these waters, occasionally rising then vanishing without trace. Blurry photographs, peculiar videos, and local stories have convinced thousands that an ancient creature still swims silently below. The Manchu believe 3 celestial maidens once bathed here, giving rise to the imperial Isenjiro lineage. Koreans revere the mountain known as Paektu as the birthplace of their nation's mythology, sacred enough to feature in their national anthem. For centuries, Heaven Lake has been a protected sanctuary forbidden to hunters and loggers. Locals whisper that its water bestows blessings, promising prosperity and fertility. Though unproven, everyone believes. Ancient folklore says Shenong collected medicinal herbs near hot springs, capable of boiling eggs, beside stone carvings of poetry from Emperor Kangxi, a convergence of history, myth, and spiritual energy. The trek to Heaven Lake isn't for the impatient. Climbers ascend over 8,500 feet, navigating through pine forests, birch groves, and steep stone stairs in thin air and chill winds. Yet upon reaching the summit, fatigue vanishes before a breathtaking turquoise lake, clouds drifting below the sky, reopening upon mirrored waters. Nearby, the 200-foot-high Changbai waterfall plunges dramatically, a fairy's ribbon, framed by fiery azaleas, steaming springs, and cliffs engraved with ancient characters. At twilight, Heaven Lake withdraws quietly into clouds, mysterious like a deity briefly revealing itself, then slipping away wordlessly. Visitors remain silent, gazing upward, questioning if they've merely seen a landscape or inadvertently witnessed a sacred ritual never intended to be explained. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for the next video. Shenongji, ancient forest of myth and legend. Hidden deep within the misty mountains of northwest Hubei, where fog drifts like wandering souls, Shenangjia emerges as an untouched realm, only its edges explored by humans, its heart remaining a kingdom of myth. Each morning, thousands of ancient trees blanket steep limestone cliffs rising above 10,000 feet. Sunlight filters gently through leafy canopies, forming ethereal beams. Soft moss carpets the earth, and distant waterfalls echo like ancient chants. Rare golden monkeys leap gracefully among treetops. Vibrant butterflies swirl like fragments of forgotten memories from a primal world. The name Shenangjia bears legendary origins named after Shenong, the father of Chinese herbal medicine. Legends say he once ventured here tasting hundreds of herbs to heal humanity, succumbing repeatedly to poison, until a crimson phoenix descended, reviving him with a mystical, glowing herb. From then on, Shenangjia birthed rare divine ginseng, growing deep within hidden caves granted only to those destined to find it. Completing his mission, Shenong transformed into a dragon, leaving behind a giant footprint etched into the cliffs, revered as the sacred seal of heaven's medicine. Yet beyond ancient myths, modern legends also thrive here. Tales persist of the Yeren, a mysterious ape-man standing nearly 7 feet tall with fiery red fur, whose haunting cries echo under moonlight. Large footprints, strange hairs, and constant feelings of being watched have compelled many explorers to retreat respectfully, as if the forest itself accepts only those who truly listen. For the Tujia Miao and Han peoples, Shenangjia isn't merely forest, it's a living deity. They offer prayers before harvesting medicinal plants, reverently acknowledging each tree and stream as living spirits. The Yeren symbolizes balance, guarding harmony between humanity and the wilderness. A journey to Shenangjia isn't simply exploration, but immersion into living myth, where roots entwine legends, insect songs whisper Shenong's wisdom, and butterflies dance as ancient messengers. Here, mysteries require no explanation, only hearts humble enough and breaths quiet enough to feel truths beyond words. Sungsing Dui, the masked kingdom buried beneath the earth. In the quiet farmlands of Sichuan, where the Min River winds through flat fields, and nothing seems out of the ordinary, lies the remains of a once glorious civilization lost, forgotten, and never mentioned in any historical record. Sungsing Dui, named after 3 mound-like stars rising from the ground, is the gateway to an ancient Shu kingdom, unlike any other in Chinese history. In 1986, 2 sacrificial pits were unearthed, revealing not bones or daily tools, but thousands of artifacts that felt as though they came from another world. Bulging bronze masks, towering human-like statues in a 3-tiered bronze tree, adorned with 9 sacred birds and a coiled dragon. These relics bore no resemblance to anything from the Chinese heartland, no writing, no palaces, no tombs. Legends speak of King Can Kong, whose eyes glowed like stars. He led grand rituals to summon rain and divine favor, offering up gold jade in prayer. Some believe the masks were modeled after him, a ruler who could see beyond time. And that bronze tree, a symbol of the mythical Fusang tree, once home to 9 sons before 8, were shot down by the hero Ho Yi. Then around 1100 BCE, it all vanished. No warning, no explanation. Only the staring eyes of the masks remain, as if asking us, do you still remember what you used to believe in? Sungsing Dui is more than an archaeological site. It's a buried memory, beautiful and surreal, still waiting perhaps to finish telling its story. Fengdu, the ghost city that guards the gate to the afterlife. Deep in the mountains of Chongqing, there's a place that doesn't belong to the living world. Fengdu, the ancient ghost city, has stood for over 1,000 years as the legendary checkpoint between life and death. Since the Han Dynasty, it has been known as the realm where souls pause before passing into the next life, and where Mount Ming looms behind it, once believed to be the throne of the King of Hell. According to folklore, two Taoist priests, Yin Changsheng and Wang Fengping, achieved immortality here, merging into a single figure, Yin Wang, the Lord of the Underworld. Locals believe every soul must pass through Fengdu after death, where sins are weighed and rebirth is decided. Walking into Fengdu feels like stepping into a different dimension. The Bridge of Helplessness, the Gate of Ghosts, the 10 Courts of Hell, demonic statues, boiling oil pits, blade-covered mountains, rivers of blood that all appear just as they are described in ancient Chinese visions of the underworld. Each stone step leading up Mount Ming, where the temple of Yin and Yang stands, feels like a spiritual journey, where death is not the end, but a second beginning. Every year during the Ghost Festival, Fengdu comes alive. Paper lanterns, ceremonial offerings, and haunting performances bring to life centuries of beliefs about the afterlife. And when night falls, people say you can still hear footsteps with no owner, see pale shadows moving through the trees, and catch whispers in the wind. Fengdu is more than a ghost town. It's a mirror, a place that makes us confront the oldest question of all: what comes after we die? The world you just stepped into is not simply a map of geography. It is a map of memory, of faith, of questions that have never been answered. Here, nature is not just a landscape, it is a storyteller. Mountains keep secrets, lakes know how to cry, and ruins wait not to be understood but to be heard. We walk through Jiuzhaigu like a song shattering in midair. We bow before the Meili snow mountains as if before an immortal god. But deeper than beauty is a realization. We have only taken the very first steps. Because out there still lie lands with no name, legends yet to be told, and perhaps you will be the next to enter to continue humanity's unfinished dream of wonder. For the world does not need to be discovered again. It only needs to be felt through the eyes of those who still believe.